watching this video most likely from a phone, possibly a computer or a TV, and if you're really freakish, maybe even a smartwatch.
Hey man, you okay? What are you doing here? Everything all right at home?
But regardless of your chosen device, all of them are made up of a combination of red, blue, and green blips, tricking your stupid reptilian brain that what you're seeing is real, three-dimensional, and filled with millions of colors. And since gaming consoles and displays have grown and evolved over time, gaming has tried to keep up, and for decades it did, with enormous graphical leaps that would genuinely, instantly antiquate what came before it. And if you grew up in the 90s like me, you would have seen modern gaming evolve from this to this, and before my childhood, you'd have moved from arcades to in-home gaming to crazy visuals in your pocket. But if you're growing up now or just getting into gaming in the last 10 or so years, you would have seen modern games go from this to this. But somehow the prices to make and play these things have gone from this to this. What? We are no longer living in a time of meaningful graphical evolution, and half the time we seem to be going straight fucking backwards with a monstrously higher development cost too. But why, when we look back at two different titles, really from any era, one striving for realism and the other a defined art style, we reliably get the same conclusion? One will soon be replaced by a slightly different looking, equally as expensive to produce product, but style is forever.
Oh shit! Damn, that was Aura. I ain't gonna lie. That was Aura. I ain't gonna lie. That was hard. I gotta look at that one more time. That was hard. That was hard.
Style is forever.
Nah, he killed that shit.
Fuck ray tracing! I'm sorry, that seemed a little aggressive, but I'm being serious. We've spent years and millions of dollars trying to get reflections and lighting to look slightly better for a very small number of systems and hardware, and all we got was an unoptimized setting that half the time nukes your frame rate so you can take really pretty screenshots and play the game in an objectively worse manner.
Hey, hi, why don't we put the same time and energy into researching a better optimization strategy so everyone can enjoy
This isn't coming from someone that can't run it. I have a
top-of-the-line gamer PC, and
Still, the first thing I do when I start a game is turn off motion blur and ray tracing. Wow, now it's actually a good game that runs and looks good!
Yeah, but check this out.
Mario and Unreal Engine 5, out now! But the argument for or against this, for me, doesn't only come from a place of aesthetic, because I'm sure with time it'll eventually get better. It also comes from a financial one. The entire newly named AA and higher gaming industry are frantically trying to make their games look as ridiculously next-gen as possible. But newsflash, dipshits, the next-gen doesn't fucking exist anymore! We've reached gargantuan levels of diminishing returns here, but we're somehow simultaneously chasing the dragon of progress with 100 times more money than ever before. Development costs have ballooned by tens of millions of dollars, which means the prices of games have ballooned with it. Everyone is frantically spending every resource for 1% improvements, and temp jobs, layoffs, and rotating doors are common in the gaming industry now. But I know I don't need to explain how horrible the current game development landscape is, but maybe you haven't considered some of the reasons as to why it exists. Many companies have fallen in love with the video part more than the game part. See, the AAA gaming industry loves marketing, often more than developing. They love flashy trailers, banner ads, slogans, catchphrases, and numbers on a screen that mean absolutely nothing because it allows them to pander to their shareholders.
We are the future! They are the stupid...
Oh man, the new AI-powered glunch board with 90 billion terashits of mega slop! You'll be blasting off at 14,000 frames of... What are you playing?
It's a 2D Metroidvania that honestly could probably run on a Sega Saturn.
It's unsustainable from the development to the marketing. Attempting to optimize your futuristic next-gen title for 1,000 different rigs and brands of hardware is a logistical nightmare. And the price of that nightmare is passed on to the consumer in either rising costs or broken games. Accessibility matters, optimization matters. Video games were never supposed to cost hundreds of millions of dollars, but now that they do, we should be striving for more innovative gameplay, ways to connect people and push the boundaries on what makes a video game.
I guess they're trying to still... I mean, do y'all get what he's saying? Like, I'm trying to... I don't know, maybe he's not to the point yet. But I think he's saying, like, people are far more focused on the video than the game itself. Like, if you didn't focus so much on the graphics, you would actually make a better product, as in the story, the gameplay and so forth.
Fun.
Oh, but the trailer and the extremely curated gameplay reveal looks so good, right? Look at the reflective puddle!
Oh, fuck. I don't look at the bottles. Do not look at the bottle. Like video games, you know what else is also expensive to produce? Animation. And I actually like to pay my team and make sure that they have food.
I did not say you could have 2 hot dogs!
This video is sponsored by Crystal of Atlan and their new crossover with Digimon. What? Crystal of Atlan is a brand new super... Your boy, back to the video. Biblioblames, shockingly, actually haven't been impacted by inflation as much as you may think. In the 90s, PS1 games were $50 and Nintendo 64 games were often $60 to $70 fucking dollars. Fun fact, that's actually where the 64 comes from because it was 64, never mind. Adjusted for inflation, that would be like $100 to nearly $150
Oh wow, they costed that much back then? Damn.
a pop for each game.
All I got was goddamn clay fighter.
Wait, hold up, this game rules. But the cost to make and market a game now is like nothing we've ever seen before. Halo 3's budget was around $50 million, and that included a world-class, one-of-a-kind marketing campaign that took...
And that's the crazy part. Like these games are so shit, but they spend so much money on these games to be produced, marketed, all that shit just to be ass. Makes no sense to me.
planet by storm, while Halo Infinite was rumored to have a budget of nearly $500 million, a 1,000% increase. And as much as I truly love many aspects of that game, it released with a fraction of Halo 3's original content, and the marketing wasn't anything near Halo 3's. So where is the money going? Well, game dev teams are armies now. Keeping up with modern hardware is beyond difficult, the marketing world is wider and more saturated than ever, shipping physical games is becoming a detriment, and post-release support is now mandatory. This is why the prices of games are skyrocketing. Subscription-based models that allow companies to pre-plan budgets are getting more popular, and microtransactions and bleed pricing is getting more commonplace. And if we want all of these things to stop, I'm not kidding when I say games need to be smaller, look less good, and developers need to be paid more. Blockbuster franchises.
That's an interesting take. Games need to be smaller, look less good.
And developers need to be paid more.
I guess, I don't know. Maybe y'all understand. Like, I guess I'm trying to, like... I'm letting him go. I'm still trying to, like, figure out what he's trying to say. That's why I haven't really responded.
Blockbuster franchises used to take a few years to make, if that. Now it takes a damn decade to make a single game because the expectations are so ludicrously high. That's why indie titles, stylized titles, innovative, weird titles are becoming so popular as
I love indie games.
Yes, R&D is worth something. Yes, it's in our best interest to strive for better. And yes, we should always be trying to evolve our art. But can we wait until it's more fucking affordable?
Hey!
Nintendo, I feel, is a perfect example that encompasses all the good and bad here. Check this out. Nintendo launches an extremely affordable console that breaks nearly every record ever, but it runs on leapfrog hardware and a dream. Most of their games look extremely good, even on the weaker hardware, because again, a concrete style is worth far more than high-fidelity realism and graphics. But because of that same lacking hardware, some games run poorly or are forced to make optimization cuts, either in graphics or frame rate. So what does Nintendo do? They work on a second console, this time far more powerful than the last, one that can run modern-looking games but maintains the hybrid gimmick. This causes the price to jump up, and even though it's still on the mid-end of modern consoles, it's seen as greedy, despite gamers begging for this exact upgrade.
But I don't like the price!
Then why did you ask for it? Now, games being $70 to $80 is complete bullshit. It's not the highest we've ever seen by a long shot, but it's also obviously not the cheapest, and the new tariffs and trade war doesn't make things easier at all. Why do old Pokemon sprites still ooze charm, but every 3D Pokemon game somehow looks worse than the last? Why are indie games coming out faster than ever, toppling AAA studios and claiming so many awards? How do these smaller gaming experiences, sometimes made by a single individual, garner such massive loving fan bases? Balatro, Vampire Survivors, Slay the Princess, Inscription, Animal Well, Pizza Tower, Blueprints. Because a refined art style will always age better than the skin pores of the month. Because you can tell an emotional story, no matter your poly count. And because bold and defined visuals let your game stand apart and speak for themselves, no matter the budget. Just take a look at Expedition 33, a small...
I guess I want to say, because, like, bro, like, a lot of shit, I don't know, bro, like, I want to say that what I'm getting from it is that since the companies are being so lazy on producing a great game due to the fact they're spending so much, I'm gonna redo that again. Great companies are so focused on the graphics that they're not even focusing on, or they're basically abandoning the storylines, the gameplay, and all those things that are actually far more important. Because if you mean to tell me that the graphics are not that good, they're not as good in comparison to, let's say, a GTA 6, whatever, but the story is amazing. The gameplay is amazing. The small Easter eggs and the lore and all that stuff, I think that is far more valuable, right, than the graphics. Because, yeah, like, of course, like, I think graphics are amazing, but at the same time, it doesn't make the game necessarily. Like, it only, like, Red Dead Redemption 2 is actually an amazing fucking game, and it has great graphics, right? So it really only counts if it's a great game overall.
All team's first project, an outstandingly beautiful title that blends the two design philosophies together, sacrificing neither while making a visually distinct and affordable game. By the way, this is like one of the best games I've played in the recent decade. If it doesn't win Game of the Year, I might actually like lose my mind. And this isn't like nostalgia glaze either. This effect happens time and time again, and not just with modern indie games, the gaming industry as a whole. Look, Last of Us is an incredible game. No argument there. One of my favorites, and obviously a very high fidelity and pretty game, especially for 2013. And by the way, do you want your brain to like fucking melt? Last of Us released a year before Dark Souls 2. Yeah, what?
But do we really need to remaster The Last of Us so many times to the point where you can't tell the fucking difference?
Fuck's the point of this? What the
Oh, they don't look that different? Damn, I didn't know that.
does this mean? You are spending millions.
But it could be like, it's kind of, I don't know. Damn, it looks the same.
Something I can't fucking say. Now, none of these arguments mean bunk shit if I can't point you towards a modern game that encompasses all of the attributes I'm seeking in a title. Affordable for the consumer, low development costs, balanced and sustainable work environment, gameplay first framework, kinda indie but kinda not indie, no long bloated playtime, stylized graphics that will age beautifully, heart, soul, and dare I say it, fun?
What the hell? A game's priority being fun?
I give you one of the most innovative, impressive, and genuinely fun games ever created, where there unironically wasn't a 5-minute gap at any point where I wasn't smiling ear to ear. If I could sum up this title in one word, it would be hybrexneotheristic, which I made the fuck up because there's no actual fucking word in the English language that can describe how good this game is. From the very first second to the last, this game
is it good or not?
assaults your senses with a bombardment of creative ideas, only to throw them away 5 minutes later so they can fit in another dozen crazy mechanics into the same section of the same level. It's downright baffling how many fun and interesting gameplay ideas are packed
Okay, so he's saying it's good. Because some people say it's not good.
into this 12-hour game and how often they build off of them multiple times. Not only is Split Fiction insanely fun, but it's optimized beautifully, runs like butter, and looks so damn good. I've never seen a studio flex how comfortable and confident they are like this. It seems like every art asset, set piece, landscape, color, style, and effect was lovingly crafted with zero internal friction. Everything is on full...
Can you play it by yourself, or you have to... Like, can you like play online or something?
Display here with unabashed passion
You gotta be able to play online, but I mean, like, is there like matchmaking?
and heart. This game is a 10, but it's not just a 10.
Oh, a 10.
It's a 10 that also has a buddy pass, so your co-op
Chat, is it a 10? Let me know in the comments. Is that a 10?
partner doesn't even need to pick the already affordable game up to play the entire experience. It's a 10 that pursued a timeless, cost-effective, beautiful art style. It's a 10 that prioritized the player over the profits. It's a 10 that proved you can still develop a Game of the Year contender without spending hundreds of millions of dollars. But maybe, most importantly, it's a 10 that I know I can replay in 20 years and it will still be as good as I remember it.
Damn, he's really done. Okay. I don't know, like, bro, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty surprised about his, like, because, and I'm sure someone will kind of help. Hopefully, someone helps me in the comments. We can actually look at the comments actually on this one, because I can't really wrap my head around. I think basically he is saying that if the graphics were just not as good and you focus more on the gameplay, the story, it would be far better off. I think that's basically what he's saying. Because like indie games, obviously they're not as good graphics wise, but they're different, you know, different aesthetic, different story, different way to play, and they're highly respected, right? So yeah, so someone said I'd rather buy a 10 out of 10 game with the worst PlayStation 1 level graphics for like 20 rather than a 3 out of 10 uber realistic looking game for $80. Yesterday I literally saw a guy who commented on Silksong. Okay, nothing. But a AAA game don't burn 700 million on literally nothing, or their executives coke binges. And how will they guilt trip the average consumer to accepting their bullshit $90 price tags? Realism is a pun. I play games to have fun. As a professional take artist, it's not the realism, it's the realism and the open world everything model. Realism is cheap on decently sized and focused projects that aren't the size of Great Britain and modeled down to the millimeter. You hit on it, but you missed it. The problem is the investors, old guys in suits, they don't even play video games, but they want to make money. They don't understand or care about the game mechanics, but they can see a pretty picture, so the game so the game with the prettiest pictures get the investors. Okay. Not only good graphics don't equal good games, it also makes gaming more and more inaccessible to the people who can't afford the hardware. That's another good point. I think that's a good point because obviously, you know, a lot of games you're gonna have to need you're definitely gonna need, you know, a PC or play. I mean, the PlayStation 5 is still out of, you know, I don't think they're in stores still. So honestly, most AAA companies don't realize that people exist outside of the US where the economy is usually shit and people can't afford higher end PCs. But I mean, not everything is on PC though. Like, I mean, things are on PC, but it's like, you know, PlayStation but even then though, you can't play that bitch on PlayStation 4. Oh hell no. I'm someone who grew up with a potato computer, and that has made me have extremely low standards for FPS. 30 is basically all I'm asking for. Look at the game and say this doesn't run real on my pretty top-notch PC. Then maybe we need to spend a few dollars on optimization. I don't know. This was actually pretty interesting for me. I still have to think about this, so maybe the next time I come back on stream, I'll have a better thought. But it's so hard for me to say that he's wrong, though. I don't think he's wrong. I guess, but I'm also trying to have like a, you know, an independent opinion. But because I don't remember the last time I've had like an amazing time on a game besides Miles Morales, but that came out a while ago. I think Battlefield 6 will be great. I think that'll be great. Because what I will say is I don't think anyone has risked the graphics not being so good but have a great game though. You know what I'm saying? I've never heard that before. That the gameplay is good and the story is great, but the graphics are not that good. I've never heard that. I've never heard that ever. I've never heard that before. Because I could not imagine what the graphics would look like on a game with low expectation, or like basically like what would graphics look like if they're below average? Because that has to still look pretty decent. You get what I'm saying? Versus a expected graphic type of look or high graphics. Like I would think a below average graphics would look pretty damn good still. I would think so. So I don't know, man. Yeah, but I definitely can't say he's wrong. There's no way I can say he's wrong. I guess I just can't think of so many games really right now that. I mean, because I've always been curious on why games are so bad now. Because I'm definitely someone that I do love indie games. So I never had an issue with those type of games. And especially like I think the last time I played one on stream was 12 minutes. Like that shit was crazy, bro. And that's definitely memorable. And even though the graphics aren't, whatever, but like it's not like it's not crazy or anything, but the story of it and how you play it is so interesting. Right? So I think that's what he's trying to introduce, or that perspective he's trying to introduce. Because it's serious, like, but seriously, like, it's one of those things where you have to think about what makes a game so great. Is it really the graphics? No, like, that's more of cherry on top, I think. I think it's more cherry on top. But it's just that, games like Naughty Dog, Rockstar, they've made the greatest games of all time, and they came with great graphics. And I think that maybe other companies just try to copy that model and just are just willing to risk it all by just focusing on everything, especially the graphics, to make sure that it's up to par with that. So maybe like the greatest games ever, like GTA 5, like Last of Us, have influenced other companies to make a game with great graphics and try and then worry about the story and all that stuff. Maybe I don't know, but I think it all comes down to passion. I think it all comes down to who's money hungry and who's not, right? Because I think the people that really just care about the creativity and care about pleasing the fans and the people that play, or the consumers, that they have a fun time. And I think the people that are really just passionate about creating are the people that win. And I think that's why Rockstar, that's why Naughty Dog are on top when it comes to the greatest games, And Insomniac too. I mean, even though it's Marvel and you can't really go wrong with having Spider-Man and stuff like that, but still, I mean, they could make it a shit game, but they didn't. They made a very well thought out game with even though it's easy to get like the platinum and stuff like that, but they made it enjoyable. They made it enjoyable and fun to do. And it's definitely going to be in my top 10 games of all time, 100%. So, personal. But yeah, man. So we're going to wrap it up here. I low-key have been coughing, so I wanted to play a little bit of Battlefield 1, but I do not see, unless I get some cough drops. So give me like 10 minutes. I'm going to come back and I'm going to see what I can do. All right. I'll be right back. Do got to take a shit and everything. So yeah, I'll be right back and we'll see.